I think it's fair to say that FIFA has lost track of what the World Cup is supposed to be over the past few editions. For the United States, more specifically, or this upcoming World Cup, greed has taken over. And many are quick to jump in and just blame the United States of America. But listen, when it comes to the ticket prices and the ticket situation, which is a little bit crazy, outside of the prices, there's some very sketchy things happening. That is mostly on FIFA. It's not really because of the United States of America. FIFA has control over that. FIFA has abandoned what the World Cup is all about, and they focused on money and money exclusively. And don't get me wrong, they can't really run a deficit running this event, but when is enough enough? And honestly, there's been some sketchy things happening that we're going to talk about very soon. So today, we're going to dive into all of that. Hello. If you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV. And today I want to talk about the entire FIFA tickets situation that goes far beyond the prices. The prices are a problem, but it's much deeper than that. There's a lot of sketchy things happening that we're going to dive into that you probably don't even know about, allegedly. I also do want to talk about their bizarre resale platform. Oh, we're going to have fun with that one. And for today's episode, I'm bringing an expert on this topic, and his name is Danny, known as Travel Football Fan on Instagram, that has been keeping fans up to date on the World Cup ticket situation and travel. He's done a tremendous job, he's been incredible, so make sure to give him a follow. And as we dive into this discussion, which I know it's not focused on what happens on the field of soccer, it's what happens outside. It's a very important video to make, and I'm not seeing many people covering it for many different reasons. So let me know in the comment section down below your experience so far buying World Cup tickets, right? Did you buy them? Did you get them? What category? Did you feel like the prices were fair? Did you have any issues with the platform? Did you buy for one category and get tickets for another one? Your experience matters, and let us know in the comment section down below. I will be reading probably every single comment. I can't respond to everyone, but I will be reading all of them. I will be going through all of them. Now make sure to drop a like in this video to help reach more people. It's a great way to support the channel as well. And that's all. Let's roll the intro and let's start the discussion. Okay, everyone, welcome to a somewhat different, but you guys kind of seen an episode like this before where we just kind of shit on some of the things that are happening in the World Cup. Last time I had Pete from 11 Yanks. We talked about different issues with the World Cup that were happening at the time. But this time I want to talk about specifically the tickets. And I brought a guest that he might not say it, but I'll say it. I firmly believe he's an expert on this specific topic. He's been covering it from the get-go for this specific World Cup, and he's gone to the previous one, so he knows what he's talking about. I wouldn't have brought him if I didn't believe that he knew more than me. So Danny, welcome to the channel.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, man. Seriously, it's been such a journey to be here. I wish I did not have to be here to talk about this specifically, because as my name, as my handle at Travel Football Fan stated, I really just wanted to help people travel, and it just became this whole mess. With the tickets, which fair enough, it does help, with travel, right? I mean, like if you don't have a ticket to the game, I mean, you're more than likely not traveling, or you're really having to adjust your travel plan. So but thank you for that intro. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it's very important to have this conversation so people can understand that we're probably not even going to dive into this specific, like you're going to talk about the ticket prices being too high from FIFA. We're not even going to really touch upon that too much because there's like some sketchy stuff happening. And we're also going to talk about their bizarre resale market, which, because talking about the ticket prices being too high, that's too obvious.
That's too obvious. Yeah.
And I want to dive into some stuff that is very weird and a lot of people are not talking about. So I want to bring this up, Danny, first, because that's what caught my attention. I'm like, I got to bring you to the channel. Pepe Stan, I actually met this guy. I'm not going to say his name or reveal who he is. I've met him in person, and I've been following him on X for a while. He's talked to me through DMs, and he posted this. He on X probably a week ago, something like that. He said, you can now check FIFA.com to see your seat assignments. This was what $900 a ticket gets you on SoFi in Los Angeles. Rumor is that they're saving sideline seats for even more money. Anyone get a sideline seat for category 1. So just for everyone to understand the context here before I hand Danny the mic, this fan he in the lottery, right? He requested category 1 seats and he paid for category 1 seats. And this is what he got. These are not bad seats. I'll say right away, but they're not as good as sitting right in the middle, right? They're not as expensive. And then I just tweeted out saying this was disgusting greed if they're doing this. It's obviously allegedly, right? I don't know for a fact. But then I started to get a few comments on my posts. Everyone that requested category 1 seats, they were saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you made a video about it. And that's where I want you to pick up the mic and tell us what you got, because you got a lot more followers in terms of that specific niche.
Yeah. And so I checked my seats for the 2 games in, that Colombia is playing in Mexico. And I got section 400 something at Azteca behind the goal. Section 400, that's up there. And then for Guadalajara, I got the corner at the lower level. And so I was like, okay, these were not ideal. I knew they were category 1, fine, right? Like, because if you look at the seat maps of each of the stadiums before they switched it, right, which we'll get to in 2 seconds, it made it look like you could potentially get the sideline, right? And so what this tweet, and then when I asked everybody, hey, go check your seat assignments. Did anyone get sideline? If 2 people told me out of I don't know how many comments were on that video. If 2 people said they got sideline, it was too many people. So you're telling me
I just showed you a few comments, by the way, right there.
There you go. Yeah,
not in your video.
But in others, right? Like, you're telling me that is pure coincidence that everyone got a corner or behind the goal category 1 seat. Like, that's a hell of a coincidence for that to happen. You would have needed to have more people in the middle sections. And so then the seat map situation happened where on my website, I had the seat maps from the Australian Football Federation. Like, they had, I had the PDF and they showed certain seats there. And then FIFA had those, I believe, similar, if not the same maps, maybe showing the supporters tier groups. And then they took those down. And so I was like, wait a minute. Like, what are you guys doing here? Like, why are you trying to like hide the information from folks? Because just as myself and other content creators and other folks were telling people, go check your seats now, that's when people start saying, oh, I got corner or behind the goal, corner behind the goal, corner behind the goal for all games. It wasn't even certain games. It's not just the Mexico games. It's not just the Canada games. All games, everyone responded with the same answer. And so then that's what led to those rumors, in effect, being proven correct, because you're telling me that there's no one on planet Earth that has sideline seats for the World Cup. That's impossible. Even if you accounted for hospitality, if you accounted for comp tickets for the families of the players, accounting for all of those, there's no way that a good 10 to 20,000 seats are being kept aside just for hospitality. They haven't even sold that much for hospitality to begin with.
And I'll talk about hospitality in a second, about a funny ad today. Just to bring up, like, I showed you the tweet, the original tweet.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about your video, which I didn't put it up here, but there are a lot of comments. You said even hundreds, and many people saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a single person comes like, hey, I got middle of the pitch. I didn't see anyone. But then you see a few comments like this one. Like, for example, I bought seats in category 1, but got assigned category 2 seats. And looking at X, I see this has happened to others besides me. Does that mean that I just have to accept it and move on? And then when you scroll down and you look at it, the other one's like, happened to me in Dallas as well. Me too. I can't accept it. And then someone even says they had a clause that they could move the sections at any time. They pitched it, blah, blah, blah. So it's just like, it's not one person. It's not 2. It's many. And again, this is all allegedly for now, because we can't factually prove it, even though
we would need an email from FIFA, within FIFA, to be leaked that would say, like, hey, put all these people here. That would be the smoking gun, as they would say, right? In any of these types of communications. But if we just look at the evidence in front of us, even if it's anecdotal, even if it's just this data collection that we've in effect have done ad hoc, right? Which is ask people, hey, what'd you get? When you put all that information together, I'm sure AI could put all my comments together and be like, map me out where everyone is sitting for all of the comments. And they'll probably show a heat map of everyone in the corners and behind the goal, like barely anyone in the middle. And so again, if it's coincidence, it's a hell of a coincidence, man. Let's just put it.
I don't really believe in coincidence. No. I think when there's smoke, there's fire, and the rumors started to heat up because of what you said. Like, my comments were like that, yours were like that. I think there were Reddit. There was a whole thing on Reddit
Mhm.
about it. People are like,
Right.
and everyone is saying the same. So again, obviously, like Danny said, we can't factually prove it right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if eventually there's a lawsuit or something happens,
Yeah.
and then the truth will come out, right,
Right.
at some point.
Because then at this point it's and if you show any of the stadium apps, right, with the category 1, the yellow ring around the lower level, what FIFA is saying there is that you could potentially get any seat in any of that section, right? And so for them to say, oh well, no, hold on, you we were never guaranteeing you middle seats, then they should have never marked the middle section of the lower bowl as category 1,
Mhm.
because that map alone gives you the impression, right, as a consumer, that you could get that. And the fact that nobody got those seats does not make sense. Like even look, I was not a math major, I'm a history major, but I'm assuming statistically saying like there's no way no one got middle seats, right? You would have had to have had tens, if not hundreds of people saying, yeah, I got middle seats, and it'd be like, okay, it was just our dumb luck. But
I
no, that wasn't the
also I
case.
also think the fact that FIFA's credibility has been down the drain for quite some time doesn't really help them, right? If you're
No.
someone that does good all the time and you make a mistake, you're given the benefit of the doubt. I think FIFA's benefit of the doubt stage that's long gone.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
so that is the issue with it. But you talked about hospitality being sold out or not. Stu Holden had a tweet that he put out today that I found quite interesting. Stu Holden, for anyone who doesn't know, even though everyone watching the channel should know, he's a commentator and analyst for
Mhm.
Fox that's going to be working during the World Cup, right alongside everyone's favorite commentator, Alexi Lalas. Stu Holden put this out today. He said, maybe you didn't even see it, Danny, right? You
No,
might be
I'm not.
seeing it. So
I
you
kind of
saw it.
kind of nothing.
You might have seen it for the first time right now. That's funny. He said, still need tickets for the FIFA World Cup. Book an official hospitality package. Look at that. And lock in premium seating, dedicated entry, unlimited food, extended blah, blah. And he put a link there. And then obviously after he disclosed in partnership with FIFA Hospitality. I just asked him like thoughts on the ticket prices to see if he had anything to say about it. He
Yeah.
obviously didn't. So it's funny that they're obviously still selling hospitality tickets, and
Yeah.
and you said it, and there's another evidence right there. And I want to bring this up too because of people talk about like FIFA working in sketchy ways would be a nice way to put it. Not so long ago, this article came out from The Athletic, which was, I believe, it was in March 2nd. Okay, so
Mhm.
about a month from when we're recording this, and it says days after Infantino claimed every 2026 World Cup match was sold out, which he did. He
Mhm.
did claim that.
He did say that.
FIFA launched an effort to sell tickets to at least 64 of the 104 games next summer. And again, there was another phase now, April 1st, April 2nd, or
April
even
1st, which was the phase 4. This one I called phase 3.5.
and Stu Holden is what, 4.5?
Well, in the hospitality track, I haven't even kept the hospitality track, but I'll say this about this one, right? I remember that morning because I was obviously taking care of my daughter, and all of a sudden my phone just starts blowing up messages like, hey, did you hear about this sales phase? It's happening. What sales phase? I never heard of this sales phase. The phase 4 is in April. Sure enough, it's this random sales phase the days after Infantino said everything's sold out. And if anything, that proved what I was saying, and a couple of other of us were saying, that it was impossible that these games were sold out. Because remember, there was some stats from before, and I don't know if you're going to show these. Infantino said there was 500 million ticket requests. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. But what I said and what some others were saying was, yeah, probably to the top 20 games. The Colombia Portugal game was revealed, and I found this out through Colombia media. They had 37 million requests. So if we did the math right quick there, 500 million ticket requests. If the Portugal Colombia game had 37 million, then that means everything else is less than. And there's no way that Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia had a million ticket requests, much less 500,000 ticket requests. Like, we can make some sort of educated guesses with that. So no, this World Cup was never sold out at any one point, meaning they are artificially keeping the price high. So maybe this is where we can segment into this supply demand issue. This isn't a supply and demand issue. What I've explained to folks is that FIFA's acting like an economic cartel, right? They are the ones that hold the tickets, and they little by little let the tickets go. And that is to ensure that the price is kept high as long as possible.
Artificial scarcity.
Artificial scarcity. No, like if the Portugal Colombia game is sold out, I'll maybe believe it, right? Because that is the most in-demand game. Fair enough, right? Maybe one of the Argentina games is sold out. Maybe I could believe that too.
Brazil, Scotland, maybe.
Maybe that one, por ejemplo, right? But the fact that we're barely able to name like 5 games that will be sold out should tell you enough that this is all just artificial scarcity. Because if no, put it this way, no one is demanding to pay these prices for. I took out another video today, funny enough, from Henry Bushnell. So they did a whole graph of the prices. No one's demanding to pay $500 for Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia. We
there's no way.
We have to start criticizing this supply and demand model. Like if it explains everything. No one is demanding to pay those prices. Just as I've said with the tourism industry, no one is demanding to pay $1,000 at a 2-star, 3-star hotel a night. No one's demanding that. It's just they're artificially inflating prices.
What's interesting and circling back to Infantino's comments is we have to ask ourselves a question. He obviously knows the exact number of tickets that were sold. So you have to ask yourself, did he misspeak of like it was sold out? Infantino's a very well-spoken guy. He knows like this whole thing of like, he's an idiot. Trust me, he's definitely not an idiot. Okay. If there's one thing that he's not stupid and he's not an idiot. Let's make that clear. Because people love to do this. Sometimes there's someone in power. They'll go, oh, he's a moron. It's like, trust me, he's not. Like, no, it's all on purpose. So why would he say something why would he accidentally say that it was all sold out when it obviously is not? Like it's proven. That one is factual. And I think you said it in the video, and I agree with it. It's mainly to create FOMO among fans, right? It's a way to like make you feel like you're missing out. It's like, oh my God, everyone's going, everything's selling out. So I need to get something. And when you're desperate, and you see this nowadays, even like in the Pokemon card market, right? Things like that. They're like, I'm going to miss this card. And then you see the chase card that comes in from a new set, spike in price. People buy it, pay $1,000, and then it crashes to $200-300 like 2 months later, which is the real price. Which I think, by the way, that's probably what's going to happen to World Cup tickets as it gets closer. A lot of games are going to crash. Like you said, the Saudi Arabia, Cape Verde, no disrespect to both countries.
Not at all.
But I'm sorry.
If anything, Filippo, like that's the whole point of the World Cup is to watch those types of games. I am a fan of international football more,
but not $500 for.
But not $500. No, Papi. Maybe $500, maybe $50, maybe $100, right? Maybe, but no more than that.
How about this here, Danny? Let's put this here, because the one thing I get comments very often here at the channel is I criticize the ticket prices, and you kind of just did the same. So we're gonna get comments here saying, you can't attack the free market in America. And I'll tell you one thing. I am for the free market for the most part. Like, just being completely honest. Like, I believe that it's probably the best way to go. Maybe not in every single sector, but most of them, right? But I'll say this. FIFA, for starters, is a nonprofit. And FIFA's main goal is to help grow the game, make it inclusive, and a lot of other bullcrap that they say they're supposed to do. If you want to make
it the game, I think is one of them, right? Take care of the game.
We'll see if they're doing that. They're definitely taking care of their bank account.
Yeah.
But what FIFA has to do is make the game inclusive. What do I mean by making it inclusive? Make it at a price point that the Americans that are here, regardless of how much money they make, we're all equal to buy the tickets. Right now, if someone with more money wins the lottery over someone with less money, that's fine. I talked about this with Danny. Going to a World Cup game is not a right. It's not a human right. Like, you can't, every human needs to be allowed. Like, that's not how it works. And I understand that sense. And then people will go and bring up, like, you can't control the prices because the secondary market, the scalpers market, you can't fight it. You can. And FIFA, a while back, they announced, and they did this, they announced that they were going to make their own resale platform. And Danny, I was very naive, because when I saw that, I was like, hey, that is brilliant. You're going to destroy the scalpers, because you're going to put the value of the ticket, and if you buy it, you can resell it for what you paid. I think that's fair. Oh, I can't go to the game. I paid $100. Here, you can get your $100.
Emergency happens. Exactly. Live happens.
That is fine. As long as there's a buyer, you get your money back and blah, blah, blah.
And FIFA, and if I can add to that, FIFA could have easily said, you can only buy through us. it's gonna have a special QR code thingy majig that will say this was bought through FIFA. If you buy it through anywhere else, we will cancel the ticket. Like they have that power. The Olympics in Paris, I believe, did that, and
Dude,
they were able to limit the scalpers like
FIFA did the
crazy.
hardest part. They made the platform.
Yeah,
They made the hardest part, right? Because they might have just not wanted to make one. They're like, no,
yeah,
let's just sell it through Ticketmaster. It's just easier. They have the software infrastructure. But look at
exactly.
this, everyone. This is what I want to show. FIFA didn't make originally when they made the platform. My dumbass, like naive as I was, I thought that they were doing it to fight the scalpers that were going to buy
Hmm.
the tickets and try to resell it. But what FIFA instead did, they were like, let me join the scalpers. Let's become a team.
Yeah,
Let's scalp together and profit with it together. So FIFA essentially made their own resale market where you can put any freaking nonsense price you want on the ticket, and they get a fee for every sale. So if people start trading tickets like they do like to the stock market, FIFA makes more money. And this is what's
yeah.
insane to me. This is what's insane. So category 4 for this Scotland Brazil, I believe it's to Scottish fans. That's why it's also in pounds.
Hmm.
45 pounds face value. That's actually not a bad price for a ticket. That's pretty damn fair.
Yeah,
Okay, in my opinion, for a World Cup game. Category 4, mind you, it's the cheapest ticket, but I think that's a very fair price. That's what, like $60? That's fine for a World Cup game.
yeah.
Now, the asking price of the resale market, £2,000. It starts to go crazy. And
Hmm.
here's the thing, the FIFA fee is almost 10x the price. Sorry, not 10x in this case. It's 5x each one the price of the ticket. So FIFA essentially is profiting off scalping, where
Hmm.
they could literally control it themselves. This is, and again, we talked about this before too, me and you off camera, regardless of somebody's politics, you don't even need government interference in this. You
No.
can keep the free market. FIFA, out of its own will, without the government saying anything, they could have done this to make the game more inclusive in America, focus a little bit less on profit, which they would still profit, pack the
Yeah,
stadium, open the door to everyone. And they chose to not fight the scalpers, but to join the scalpers and make more money with them.
yeah.
Is there anything that I said that's wrong about that? Just to
No,
make sure.
no, because they're charging 15% to the seller, 15% to the buyer. So they're double dipping into just the fees alone. Like they and the crazy part of it is when last year, I think the first inklings of prices started to come out. I said there's not going to be a ticket on the $300, guys, because there was an interview by the Kansas City executive director of FWC 26 Kansas City that she was asked, hey, we were by the interviewer, hey, tickets are going to start $323. That was kind of like the first flag, and I pointed out, guys, this interview happened and they didn't confirm nor deny it. And DC speak, that means shh, cállate, like just don't say anything. That was my first flag right there, right? And so and people are like, nah, come on, bro, that's it. It's in the bid book, right? Correct. In the bid book, it said, what was it going to be, like 180? I think was the category 3, which fine, okay. I mean, that's not necessarily
Pricey, but
yeah,
understandable.
but like understandable. Yeah, kind of. That's what we pay here in America. Fine, But then, of course, then came out these basically no $60 tickets, no $300 tickets, right? And even to this day, I think maybe 5 games have category 3 tickets, maybe at around $150 category 3, but nothing else to that effect. And then that's when FIFA took out those $60 seats that ended up being nonsense, because it was just 500 tickets for the 2 federations, so in effect 1,000 seats, and in these stadiums, that's what, 1% of the seats that you're only selling for $60. It
I
was
also, one thing that drives me insane about this is people that still defend it, right?
Mhm.
Because one thing would have been if FIFA was just like, we don't want to invest in the platform, we're not going to make one, we're going to put it for sale on Ticketmaster, and there's no US law against scalping, and Ticketmaster also doesn't control it, so we're just handing it out to the market and the market can figure it out. They didn't do that. They
Yeah,
made their own platform, which you would think it would be, hey, we're going to sell for this price. This is the price, dude. You sell it for, if you want to sell it, it's what you paid for.
yeah,
At best, you recoup your money if you can't make it.
yeah.
That's not what they did, guys. And that's why I'm being critical of it. If FIFA had put on Ticketmaster because they don't have a platform and they left it, it would have been more of like a US regulational problem.
Correct, correct,
But
correct.
that's not what happened.
In
That
which
is
in
what
which
I'm
Ticketmaster has lobbied both Democrats and Republicans. So, like, and I know I've been very obvious and open about my liberal politics, but the whole Ticketmaster thing, the whole third party resale market thing, that is a government problem because they lobby both sides and they make sure they have no laws passed against scalping, no laws against dynamic pricing, which is the problem here, right? I do want to point out,
pricing,
dynamic pricing, right? And I want to point that out because I had folks at FIFA tell me it's not dynamic pricing, like almost aggressively telling me it is not dynamic pricing, it's variable pricing. It's the same damn thing. Variable pricing is just a slower dynamic pricing. Because if you think about it, right, with these phases, all they do is they start the clock, boom, the price goes up. When they stop the phase, the basically the price freezes, and then when they start the clock again at the next phase, it goes up again. So it's like, no, you're doing dynamic pricing. It's just you're controlling the stop start of this whole process. It's all dynamic pricing, and so this entire thing by FIFA was all on purpose. This whole FOMO marketing, all on purpose to make us feel like we're missing out on the biggest thing ever, and you need to pay desperate prices. And so it's just to make all of us so desperate to pay those prices, and then they all they're doing is just raking in the money, right? We're only talking about these tickets right here, right now, but I think an important maybe tangent that we could take this conversation in is the FIFA Collect, those NFTs. That in itself was
I didn't even hear about that.
Okay. That is a whole separate thing I've covered also myself on YouTube, and like I've done lives and everything about it. But the whole premise of that was they were selling right to buys last year. You have a right to buy a game, a ticket to Azteca, to the inaugural, to the US opener, to the Canada opener. And so a lot of people, I'm going to try to really summarize it as best I can. A lot of people bought these right to buys. For example, the ones at Azteca for the inaugural were going for like $3,000, $4,000. The right to buy a ticket. O sea, you get to the front of the line.
Calling dibs.
Basically. And none of that money would go towards the purchase of the ticket. So you're basically paying for dibs. Okay. Time came around October, November, and that's when everything started to crack, because then what they were telling the folks was, you're only going to be allowed to buy category 1 and category 2 seats, not the 3 or 4. So people thought they were buying these really expensive right to buys to buy the cheapest tickets. And then they got told, no, actually, it's to buy the most expensive tickets,
which are super pricey,
which are already super pricey. And that's when people realize, oh, shoot, I basically double bought into this thing. And so that was that whole controversy last year. Right now, what's on sale is the right to the ticket. So you basically had the right to buy, which was converted to the right to the ticket, which then gets converted into an actual ticket in May. Right now, you can go buy the right to tickets, which then gets you the ticket, but you're not double buying. You're not buying the tips. Now you're buying the actual right to the ticket. And in some instances, that might even be better than the resale market.
I actually didn't follow that story. I missed it. No,
it's a whole mess because they created a whole separate NFT market. The Athletic estimated that they've made about $20 million last year off of these NFTs alone, without having to dish out a single ticket.
It's and you see stories like that are what, when we bring up the category 1 that we talked about in the beginning of the video, controversy, that make us not give FIFA the benefit of the doubt. We're like, this seems like it was done on purpose. Obviously, we're saying allegedly for now because we can't.
But we don't want to get sued either.
Yeah, I don't want to get sued. Well, yeah, I don't think they can sue. I don't think they would want to sue anyone for it, because if they sue, then people will have to dig into it.
Exactly.
But regardless, I actually do not like making straight up accusations with no evidence too. I think that's fair. Yeah. But everything does point towards the direction of maybe someone should look into this. That's all it is. That's what we're saying. And I even want to show this too. When we talk about FIFA joining the scalpers market instead of fighting it, look at this. Like, this is another picture, because there are countless examples online. Like, people can just go do their own research. But look at this. Morocco versus Scotland. The purchase price of the ticket was $600 for category 1, which is already very pricey. It's already very, very pricey. But whatever. If they want to go with that for category 1, go with it. The resale price is $30,000, and the FIFA resale fee that they get $5,000. It's insane how much money FIFA is trying to make out of this. And to close this video, I want to go through something that is not going to be based on like anything we saw online or even any data or any even accusation. I want to ask you a question of your opinion on this. What do you think will happen in the World Cup in terms of outcome of the stadium? Are we going to see half empty stadiums, or when push comes to shove and we get very close, they're just the prices are just going to tank and people are just going to sell it? I mean, not for $10, but we're going to see tickets for $50 or $75. Maybe like $10, probably not. But is that going to happen, or are we going to see half empty stadiums for certain games? Of course, not all games.
Yeah, I think we could see a similar circumstance with the Club World Cup, in that a lot of those games were, empty stands, empty rows, right? Remember that FIFA got desperate and started working with U.S. veteran organizations to give away tickets to veterans. You might see them employ even more desperate tactics like that. Maybe they'll give away tickets to youth camps, because at that point, the reputation of their product now is in danger, right? One thing was the Club World Cup. Okay, it was new, maybe not everyone knows Palmeiras, fine, we'll take the hit, right? We'll take the L on that one a little bit. The World Cup, I thought the whole point was to grow the sport here in America, and instead we're pricing everybody out, and I would have to say a special shout out of criticism to U.S. soccer. Where the hell are you guys? I'm sorry, but I cheer for Colombia, and sure, maybe my second or third team it would be the USMNT. I've cheered for the USMNT before, but what the hell are you guys, U.S. soccer? Like, you guys are not fighting back FIFA at all.
You're expecting too much from them.
Perhaps, right? But it says something where the whole supposed idea is to grow the game in the United States. You ain't going and charging these ridiculous prices.
But you're talking about a federation that hired Greg Berhalter for the first time, had him for a cycle, had a mediocre job done with him.
Yeah.
News came out that he had a domestic violence case many, many years ago. It was time to move on for him. They rehired the same guy.
Yeah, the rehiring completely.
It's just kind of like, it just becomes a situation. And I'm not even getting into the actual domestic violence case. Like, yeah, like he figured out with his wife, everything was fine. It's been 30 years. I'm fine. That's fine. I'm just saying, right. I'm just saying that there was just so much baggage that you're like, if they had half a brain, they were just like, maybe we should move on from this because there's too much baggage there. Like, there's issues with the player. Like, maybe we should. And they still made that decision. And it came back to bite him, right? Getting grouped in the Copa America at home. And I mean, there's also a lot of stupid decisions from this federation over the past, I would say 15 years. It's been pretty damn bad.
Yeah.
15 years. I don't remember much before. I was a teenager, so I was just watching the game.
I remember USA Mexico 2002. I stayed up for that round of 16 match. And, that was such a high point. And I would say that one, and maybe definitely the Donovan goal against Algeria, right, in 2010. That one, and then my last happy moment with you.
Well, Spain in 09 though. Spain.
Bueno, 09 Spain, y then 2014 USA Portugal. That Jermaine Jones, Clint Dempsey goals. Okay, if it wasn't for that last second Ronaldo, screamer assist of a cross, like, we would have already been advanced. Maybe we would have avoided Belgium, perhaps, in that tournament. That is the last happy memory I have of US soccer. Since then, it's just been like disappointment. Sure, you throw in the politics, but that's my own personal views on that. But there has not been really that much of a positive success to this program, even though supposedly we have better players now than what we had in 2002, 2009, 10, 14. And it's like, no, I actually rather cheer those guys back in the day that at least had some dog in them that, they were not that great statistically, but hell, put them all together. They fought Spain. They beat Spain at their height of their power. Like,
it's something that a big portion of the fan base shares. I obviously root for the U.S. national team, and many people do as their first team.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite fascinating because if you go back to 2020, 2021, this generation was the golden generation. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, it looks like we've arrived. And you fast forward to now, most fans are actually kind of angry, disappointed, in disbelief with this generation. And we haven't even played the World Cup yet, and people
yeah, I
already
mean,
pissed off at them.
yeah,
So ultimately, their legacy is going to be what they do in the World Cup. If they go to a quarterfinals, it'll all change. Everyone's like,
yeah, of
that's
course,
the defining moment. But right now, things are not looking like they will. So
yeah,
just to make that clear, but
yeah,
we got a little sidetracked with that. I think we've covered pretty much everything in regards to the ticket situation. There's a lot of sketchy, weird things happening. As I said before, it's like some of them we don't have the actual evidence. I think a lot of things will come out during, but maybe not during, but like after the World Cup. It's just disappointing, right? Because
yeah.
the 1994 World Cup was obviously I wasn't around for, and I was like months old in
I
1994
was
World
like
Cup.
6. I
But
don't even remember none of it.
yeah, everyone I talked to from that time said it was a massive success, the World Cup.
Yeah,
Packed stadiums, record attendance. Everyone loved it. I saw the ticket price. I know there's inflation, all that, but there were tickets for
claro,
20
claro.
bucks. If you adjusted for inflation, they were far cheaper. Everyone was involved. It was a massive success. And then we're coming into this World Cup, and I'm sure the games will be good. It'll be exciting. I'm sure that will be. I'm not concerned
No,
about
listen,
that.
I'm still bullish on Colombia making a semifinal run. I know Brazil. I've been critical only because as a fellow Sudamericano, this ain't our teenage year Brazil. Like this is not a team that scared the whole continent, right?
No, no, Brazil's not
Like
that anymore. Not right
no,
now.
but that's kind of sad. I would say like like that is sad as a South American because it's like you have the two teams that carry the banner for the continent, right? Argentina, Brazil, and then the rest of us are kind of like we're trying to scrap, and now it's just Argentina, and it's like oh man, we kind of miss.
I'll say one thing though. 1994, Colombia had a better team than Brazil.
Yeah, and we messed it up too. So like there's all these things too, right? Where like hopefully Brazil gets it together. And I really want our Sudamericanos to have success in this World Cup, of course. As
Mhm.
much as we're all rivals towards each other in the eliminatorias. But that's the thing. There was this golden opportunity to have this be an incredibly successful event. My content was more trying to help people. Yo, you got to understand it is a 6-hour flight from Boston to Mexico City, from New York to LA. It is going to be a doozy to travel. Here's how you prep for it. I was not expecting crap. These ticket prices are $500 already to start with. Holy crap, the resale's insane. I like, if anything, from Miami, right? Just because I'm from there, even though I don't live in Miami right now. I was so happy we got picked to host games. Funny enough, I think it was over Orlando. I think it was going to be either Orlando or Miami was going to host games for
Orlando
the
doesn't
World
have
Cup.
really a stadium for a World Cup, so I don't
No,
know.
but it was always kind of like there,
Mhm.
right? Because Orlando hosted the last time. And now I'm like, I wish Miami wasn't hosting because they haven't really done anything, at least from the travel standpoint, public transport. They have not done anything for public transportation. They have focused so much attention to this fan festival that you still haven't figured out how you're going to get fans there. You haven't figured out the security issues with, unfortunately, with Hard Rock Stadium. That was very visible during the Copa America
I
final.
recorded it.
You were there. Exactly. You were there on the ground. And so, like, I
Yeah.
can only imagine Colombia, Portugal, like, oh man, like that is going to be a shit
I
show.
will not be there this
I
time.
will
But
no, I will not. I didn't even bother applying for that game because I knew this is like all of my people are gonna be there, and then all of the Ronaldo fans are gonna be there, and like no one knows how the hell to get there. Everyone's gonna get lost. People like I'm actually kind of concerned. Not gonna lie to you, that what's gonna happen that day if they are not ready with the proper security. Like I'm trying to tell people, bro, just go there in the morning. Like, don't even bother waiting till like 3 o'clock to start making your way there because you will never make it to the stadium if you leave from the beach or from anywhere in that county in that
yeah,
region
access
2 hours before.
to Hard Rock is really bad. For
Yeah,
anyone that doesn't know, if you're going to that game, take this as a piece of advice.
yeah,
Get there very, very early. It's really bad. Like
yeah.
I'm I don't see what happened in the Copa America happening in the World Cup. I don't think it will.
I don't think so either. Pero, o sea, Miami, unfortunately, man, like it's one of those places where like we have. I wish things would run better, right? And again, I say it as a Miamian myself that grew up there my whole life. I just wish things would run better. And like, do I have confidence in them right now? No. Just as, do I have confidence in FIFA? No. Do I have confidence in the U.S. government? No. I have the confidence in nobody right now.
Yeah, and I think it's mostly fair. But everyone, that's the discussion we wanted to have today. We wanted to talk about this. Hopefully, people now understand, at least from my point of view, why I've criticized FIFA with the tickets. The scalpers market that was strengthened with them, reinforced, validated by them. The category one controversy that we talked about, that I think more stuff will come out the next few months. We'll learn more and more about what happened. Infantino creating FOMO. Whether it was accidental or not, we don't know. I personally think it's not. Only he can say if it was or not. But I think he's, and this may sound like I'm kissing his ass or complimenting him, but I think he's a little too smart to do that on accident.
No, 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 no. Mira, he knows what he's doing. He's playing politics with 196 different countries. All right, like that FIFA's its own UN in of itself, and it has billions of dollars. He has to know what he's doing. Olvídase de eso. Like,
He's not an idiot. Let's make that clear.
He's not an idiot, fam. He knows what he's doing. This is all calculated. All of these, and you know, we didn't even talk about, you know, maybe a final rundown of the checklist of things we didn't talk about. The tech issues, I think, is also planned. I think it also creates a sense of FOMO and desperation, because it's like, oh, you sent us the wrong link this last phase 4, right? We were waiting in the PMA line as opposed to the last minute sales line, and then it was only after an hour that I even made that mistake too. I realized, oh crap, we're in the wrong line. And so, like, even those things, I think, is also planned negligence on FIFA's part. I've called it planned negligence, purposely making things slow, messing up, sending wrong emails.
So at worst, it's planned negligence. At best, it's incompetence.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my review. And if there's ever a Netflix special about all this afterwards, I think you and I and a bunch of others need to be on that Netflix documentary and just pointing out all of these issues.
When this is done, I just want to forget FIFA exists, but they'll be back. They'll be back. Like, there's no way to run. Unfortunately, they run the sport that we love, and FIFA is here to stay. They're not going anywhere. But everyone, thank you very much for watching. Again, if you want to stay up to date with your travel plans, even if you want tips for the World Cup, go follow Danny. And also, if you want to stay up to date with this whole situation, because I'm not going to be continuously covering this at the channel. I've said mostly what I had to say. Unless something crazy comes out, I'm not going to be doing the updates. So go follow him. You'll get like daily, weekly updates on everything happening. Danny, thank you very much.
No, muchas gracias, Filippo.